to clarify issues before your committee. As you've rightly mentioned, I'm referring to paragraph 108, appendices 1, 2, and 3, the Senazonga constituency. Chair, I would like to proceed to page 3, part A. The query is community projects, failure to sign formal contracts. The cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the Auditor General's observation that the Council used local purchase orders instead of standard contracts as issued by the Zambia Public Procurement Authority, ZPPA, and approved by the Attorney General. The Council used simplified bidding in line with Section 44 of the Public Procurement Act, number 8 of 2020, as read together with Regulation 182, Sub-Regulation 1 to 4, and the second schedule in the Public Procurement Regulations of 2022 for simplified bidding. However, the Council formulated extended terms and conditions for all contracts that were engaged under simplified bidding. Action taken. The Council has written to the Zambia Public Procurement Authority to seek further interpretation and guidance on the Act and other regulations. Further, Chair, you may wish to know that the local authority has also, in the meantime, borrowed standard contracts that apply to national bidding for the running contracts that we have. Appended to this response, Chair, is Appendix 1, which members may have looked at, which relates to a written letter to ZPPA, and also an extract from the Public Procurement Act number 8 of 2020 and the Regulation 182 that we have cited. In terms of remedial measures, I wish to state, Chair, that the Council will always adhere to all authorities, guidance, and regulations provided when dealing with public procurement and contract administration. Do I proceed to the other query?
Yes, please.
The next query, Chair, relates to secondary school and skills development bursaries, and this is failure to adhere to guideline non-TVETA accredited school. We move to page 6, cause of query. Chair, management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's observation that the Council made a payment to a non-TVETA accredited institution, and this was done based on a letter submitted by the institution, being an acknowledgement by TVETA that their institution had met the requirements for accreditation. Action taken. The Council engaged the director of the institution. However, he indicated that they would rather comment on the matter after the case is disposed of. Chair, you may wish to know that the case is still in the court of law, and the Council awaits final determination by the court of law that is handling the case involving a TVETA member of staff and the director of the concerned institution. In addition, all the 67 forms are duly signed, and kindly refer to correspondence attached to this report. We have appendices being communication between the Council and the institution, approvals that were made, and some seizure documents that are all in Appendix 2.
Please proceed, continue.
Thank you, Chairperson. I move to the remedial measures. Chair, as it is, the Council is only making payments to institutions upon verification of their accreditation by TVETA, making reference to the latest list as provided by TVETA in November 2023. I proceed to the next query, which is payments not supported by approved application forms. Cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's observation of failure to avail skills development bursaries approved application forms. This is because at the time of the audit, the forms for payments amounting to 94,550 were misfiled. Action taken, Chair. The Council located and secured all the forms for payments amounting to 94,000, and these are now secured and ready for verification. A reference can be made to Appendix 3. Remedial measures, Chair. The Council has since procured filing cabinets. I wish to clarify, Chair, that I wish to state that the Council is now making use of available filing cabinets to file all CDF-related payments, and these are in safe and easy custody, Chair. I move to cross-cutting issues with your permission.
Yes, please proceed.
Chair, the first query on cross-cutting issues relates to budget performance, and this relates to a variance, as we can see on that table available on page 7. There's a variance of 2 million kwacha. Cause of query: management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's observation of a variance of 2 million kwacha in budget performance. This was due to non-funding from the ministry. Action taken, Chair. The Council did make an inquiry on the amount of 2 million that was not received, and we were guided that this was a deduction at source to facilitate the purchase of a CDF monitoring vehicle. And appended to this report, Chair, is Appendix number 4, which gives us the notification of approval, which talks about a 1.2 million that had to be put aside. Then there's also this guidance on the utilization of CDF, a memo dated 4th May 2023, which was guiding that another 800,000, Chair, had to be set aside by the local authorities for a police vehicle. Those are the appendices. I move to remedial measures. The Council, Chair, will always liaise with the parent ministry to have full details on all funds that have been deducted at source. The next query, Chair, relates to budget performance, being unspent funds. Cause of query: management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's observation of unspent funds amounting to 21 million kwacha. Chair, with your permission, I would like to mention the amounts to the nearest million without mentioning all the ngwes, if that's okay with you.
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's observation of unspent funds of 21 million kwacha, and this was due to late disbursement of funds. The unspent balance as at 31st December 2022 consisted of the following components. Kindly refer to the table inserted, Chair.
You can just skip the table, fine.
Okay, action taken.
Action taken.
Chair, I wish to state that the Council expedited the completion of projects and payments to various beneficiaries to trigger expenditure, and as at 31st December 2023, the Council had spent a total of 14 million, leaving a balance of 7 million. Kindly refer, Chair, to Appendix 5. Appendix 5 has a number of documents in there showing the status of projects, pictures of the said projects, completion certificates, and all completed projects. And Chair, at this point, I seek your indulgence. I have 15 copies of documents that are in addition to the appendices given, that is Appendix 5, Appendix 4, Appendix 5, and 6.
Right, no.
Can
Yes.
be guided on how those can be
Okay,
collected
yes.
later. I request to proceed.
Yes. Proceed.
Remedial measures: the Council will expedite the implementation of projects and the payment of beneficiaries. Another query before us, Chair, is also relating to failure to spend. Cause of query: management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's observation of failure to spend an amount of 10 million kwacha on community projects, and Chair, this was due to late disbursement of funds. Action taken. In looking at the action taken, I would like members to refer to the table that is shown, showing the current status. Chair, efforts were made to improve the status, and we would have to compare the table on top and the table at the bottom. We may be able to see, Chair, that the number of projects that were approved, yes, they stand at 27, but then the number of projects that were completed, Chair, were 8. As it stands now, the number of completed projects are 26. Then the number of projects that were still in progress were 18 at the time. These have reduced to 5. The number of outstanding projects were 7. These have reduced to 2. I continue on. Yes. Action taken, Chair. Works have been expedited and most projects were... You need something? Works have been expedited and most projects were executed in the year 2023 to a level of completion, and as at 31st December 2023, the Council had spent 9 million kwacha with a balance of 3 million, representing amounts to do with retention and expected interim payment certificates for running projects. A reference can be made to Appendix 6, which shows when monies were received by the Council. Remedial measures, the Council has put up mechanisms to expedite, Chair, the execution of projects, and I want to believe at this point you would be interested in knowing what those mechanisms are, Chair. The local authority has ensured that we have early approvals sought. And
okay, finish your submission, then we'll look at the measures.
Thank you, Chair. The next query relates to secondary school and skills development and spent bursary. And we move to management response. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's observation of unspent bursaries grants, and this is due to low uptake in the 2022. Otherwise, all students that applied were duly sponsored. Action taken. Chair, the Council made a request to the Provincial Local Government Officer to vary and spend funds from secondary and skills development bursaries to purchase 2,000 desks, and this was to enable the local authority to take care of presidential directives, which include the procurement of desks. And we received an affirmative response, and Chair, this could be referred to Appendix 7, which I want to believe members may have noticed was not very clear, so it is one of those that we have brought a clearer document to show that. Remedial measures, the Council has continued engaging the community to ensure that they apply for various empowerment programs under the CDF. Chair, I wish to assure this committee as I close that all remedial measures submitted shall be enhanced in order to improve accountability function and in order to attain expected service delivery to the community. I submit, Chair, for your consideration.
Thank you very much. Honorable Nyambose.
Thank you once again, Chair. May I take you to page 6?
Page 6.
Chair, page 6. Payments not supported by approved application forms. We are there, yes?
Yes.
Chair, the remedial measure or action taken by the Council. Let me give some information to read. The Council paid amounts totaling 94,550 kwacha to 5 institutions as bursaries for skills development without approved application forms. That was the query. The action taken by management is the Council located and secured all the forms for payments amounting to 94,550 and are now secured and ready for verification. We refer to Appendix 3. Before we go to Appendix 3, Chairperson, the question is, during the time of audit, where were the forms that have resurfaced now after auditors engaged you? You had the time with them, you couldn't secure these forms, but now the common answer coming from councils, Sinazongwe inclusive, is that now we have secured them. I take you now to Appendix 3. Chair, Appendix 3, I can't see the forms that they have secured. I see a picture of a cabinet with documents inside. Now, I want the Council Secretary to tell us, those documents in this picture are the forms that you have brought as evidence that now these forms that were queried have been found. They are still in the cabinet. I can't open this cabinet in the picture, CS. Thank you very much.
Council Secretary.
Thank you very much, Chair. That is very clear and noted. The forms are available for verification.
Yes, pass that file to Honorable Nyambosa.
I realized so. We are dealing with a very seasoned council, and this Council Secretary, you are one of those who have been in the system. Is this the standard? You are the ones who prepared this report. At your own time, you knew. You couldn't attach these as appendices. You are bringing now. What time do I have to verify the forms now and confirm that these are the true forms? When we are in session, you had all the time to submit. Chair, I'm very concerned. This standard we are setting is not the standard for this committee. I submit.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move to another question. Honorable Mwene, what is to resolving the other one?
Thank you so much, Chair, as the other issues are being sorted out. CS, I would like to take you to page 3. Failure to sign formal contracts
Page 3.
of projects, about 13 projects. Now, CS, Regulation 181.5 of the Public Procurement Regulation states that despite sub-regulation 4, a procuring entity may use a standard contract issued by the authority for simplified bidding, simplified selection, where the purchase order is not sufficient for the contractual arrangements between the procuring entity and the supplier. Now, CS, you have stated here in your action that you prepared your own agreements. I have not seen them in the appendix, your agreement, and later I want to ask you on which stages were you basing your payments, because payments of CDF funds are based on stages. On which stages were you basing your payments? Maybe the first two questions, then we shall give follow-ups afterwards. Thank you.
Council Secretary, is it a follow-up? No. Okay. Council Secretary.
Thank you very much, Chair. If I got the question correctly on the you're asking whether we have issued our own standard contracts.
Yes, yes. Did you issue your own standard contracts? And if so, where are they?
Okay. Thank you, Chair, for the question. Under simplified bidding, ZPPA has not issued standard contracts. That's why we mentioned that we used local purchase orders, and there were expanded conditions that were given for all contracts, knowing full well that when you enter into a contract with any entity or between two entities, a local purchase order may not have issues to do with warranty and so forth, in as much as the articles that we have cited allowed us to use simplified bidding. You may wish to know that all these projects, the 13 of them, they were contracted under simplified bidding, and all the amounts for these projects were below 1 million, which meant that according to the articles we have cited, we were in order to use simplified bidding in the manner we did. But as a local authority, knowing full well that for any contract to run well, you need some conditions that need to bind you. And that is where there were these extended contracts that were added to the local purchase order. Just to mention, for instance, that these are what to bind. I may yet apologize, Chair, because I'm sure the member may wish to have a look. And I think Honorable Nyambose had a valid point to say, but then I think this would be an easier document to refer to, which shows a local purchase order, and they said extended contracts. Maybe to make it easy, I could myself talk about some of the things I was talking about. For example, it says the defect liability period shall be 365 days. Without that mention, the local purchase order will not have that information. So we thought it prudent, despite using simplified bidding, to include those. But then I beg your pardon, Chair. I'm trying to relate it to the statement where we gave to say that we used borrowed contracts, because we had to go to the ZPPA website and download the very standard contracts that apply to open national bidding for the running contracts, given the observation that were made by the auditors.
Thank you very much. You can as well ask your team to chip in here and there. Yes, the question was, yes, Honorable Mwene.
Yes, thank you very much.
So then you'll go to.
CS, do you have the contracts you're talking about with you for evidence?
The local purchase order?
Yes.
Or the contract that we did?
Everything, CS, because we need evidence.
Yes.
Honorable Shakafoso, then Honorable Nyambose, and you come to Honorable Mwanza.
Yes, it is a requirement that the Attorney General goes through these contracts and okays them before they are signed. Did you provide these contracts to the Office of the Attorney General for advice?
Thank you. Thank you, Chair, for the question. We did not, for the cited reasons.
Honorable Nyambose.
Before I ask my substantive one, I will pick it up from where Honorable Shakafoso has asked. You have worked in so many councils. Today you are in Sinazongwe. The issue is this the first time you are managing a simplified bidding? And is this the standard that is there? I've seen the evidence, I've read through all the documents I've referred to, I've read through them. Is this a standard? It's only for Sinazongwe, or it's a national standard? Now, coming to my substantive question, Chair. Upon being cautioned by external auditors, you wrote a letter to Attorney General on 12th December 2023. That was after audit. Have you received the response? And why did you write to Attorney General now, on this date, when you knew that you were on the right footing? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Maybe, yes, Council Secretary.
Sorry, Chair. To start with, you ask You ask why we wrote on, is it 12th December? Yes. We wrote on 12th December because at this point we had a query before us when we thought what was done by the local authority was correct. And we thought that ZPPA, having issued the guidelines that we followed and the attachments that we have put, they could be in a better place to give the guidance. And we thought if they had responded by now, we'd probably be able to share it with this house. But sincerely, Chair, we thought we could be guided.
Yes.
Thank you so much. If that was the case, why didn't you, in your own wisdom, not seek for guidance before you commenced the implementation of your works?
What is the Director of Works?
Chair, I can respond, and if Director of Works is comfortable to respond, he can
Before she
respond as
responds.
well.
No, it's just one
Before
thing.
she responds, Chair.
1 minute. I just want to find out something. Director of Works, when did you go to Sinazongwe?
Chair, in July 2022.
July 2020.
Yeah.
Internal auditor?
That was October, Chair, 2022.
And the other one? Yourself, sir?
In 2020, Chair.
Okay. And yourself?
September 2021, Chair.
September 2021. Yourself, sir?
2021, January.
Okay. And the CS?
2023.
Okay. I wanted.
You should answer very well. The issue is, this is not the first council you have been to. You confronted yourself with this. Is this a standard before you could sign it? Is this what has been happening in all the places you have been to? Or this was strange just for Sinazongwe? You have put very good references. Is this the first time you are meeting this particular case? That you don't need Attorney General, you don't need the ZPPA, just on your own as a council? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We recognize the presence of the Honorable Member of Parliament for Sinazongwe, Honorable Sharuba. Sir, you're welcome. Council Secretary.
Thank you very much, Chair. In answering that question, and I think I've even lost count of the other question I wanted to answer before, maybe I can be reminded. But then this is not a new case. I think all local authorities at one point have had to follow the same guidelines that we've referred to in terms of simplified bidding and how to handle it. I think it is only now that we have received a new circular by December 2023 that is clarifying some of these other issues.
Honorable Mwanza.
Thank you, Chair. Well, I will dwell on Honorable Nyambosi's confirmation that you have had, you have quite some experience as a Council Secretary, and I can declare interest. The Director of Engineering is a very experienced person in running these affairs. The contracts in question, the 13 of them, you decided to use an LPO. And you only issued these LPOs on 27th December 2022. And yet, the monies, CDF monies, were credited to your account for such a long time. At the end of the year, 27 December 2022, you have gone through a lot of induction courses. In fact, all of us have been complaining that many times all the council workers are in seminars and so on and so forth. Why did you decide to ignore and neglect the standard procedure of simplified bidding using standard contract documents? The next question is about looking at your number of community projects. They recommended are 27. why did you decide to select only these 13 to use an LPO? And even the list of projects that you have given us on the last appendix, the number of completion certificates do not comply and do not correspond with the number of projects that have been listed as completed. I counted 20 completion certificates, and the projects that you have indicated as completed are 25. At 25. Maybe that is, I can go on and on, but.
Thank you very much. Council Secretary.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think we noted your observation in terms of the number. I think the rest of them are there as well. We can provide them. They are available.
Yes. There is another question. What? No, she hasn't responded to one.
Comment on the same, Chair. The standard which is being set by Snazongwe, that they cannot give us information that we read. We should be waiting for them to bring them as secondary information when we are seated. I wanted to put it, we put it on record. Is this the standard admissible by this committee? A document that has not been given to me, how do I, with the effectiveness, interrogate them? Because if I ask them a question, I'll be unfair to them. Me, I will cite, according to this document, they have not attached this. Then in their response, they'll be saying we have it. So we are exposing ourselves to the public that a document given to us has no attaching evidence. They have just brought the evidence, Chair. Are we setting this as a standard, or we should ask them to do a good job? Well, this is not the way we're supposed to do things. I want to ask what is seen here and what I've referred to. Now I'll be referring to something, Chair. Then they say, no, actually, don't worry, we have it.
Let me respond to that. Based on experience in this committee, there was a time, I think, when you had almost a truck full of files from Kawe Municipal Council. What has been happening is if the local authority has not provided the response here, the documents that they come with, they are always admissible. Would always admit what they have carried, because at that time they needed a lot of clarifications. So that has been the standard to respond to Honorable Nyambose. That has been the standard. If we ask for a document, do you have evidence of what you are talking about? It's not here. Do you have it there? They would produce if they have it. Based on experience, that's what has been happening. Of course, I take note that when the witness refers to appendix, in the appendix, we must have that document. But if they come with them when they appear, they are still acceptable. I think that is my response. Yes. Your question, maybe you do. I think she has lost it.
My question is not answered, CS. You've had a lot of induction courses, and for this enhanced CDF, procurement has been a topic that all councils should actually adhere to. You decided to also float this LPO 27th December. Why such a long time? 27th December, that is the end of the financial year. Because I can read that the contract's start date is 27th December. So the whole year, up to 27th December, and then you decide to use an LPO. Out of 27 projects, why also choose only these 13 projects? What justification does an LPO have on these kind of projects?
Chair, is the procurement officer here?
Yes.
Maybe he must be made to answer so that we understand why he behaved like that because he's the professional in this field.
Could we go ahead, Chair? Thank
Go
you very
ahead.
much. As rightly noted earlier by Honorable Nyambose, obviously I will not make an excuse that I was not at the council at this time. Yes, very right. But I'm made to understand, and I've noted that that is true. The local authority received, they started the processes late in terms of the approval. I think the approvals came slightly late for the projects. And also the funding, most of it was disbursed late as per schedule that we shared, which was showing when the funding was sent to the council. And then I had already earlier mentioned, I think there was a question from the honorable member where he was talking about the use of standard contracts. I had mentioned that they don't apply to simplified bidding. At this point, and also to satisfy the request by the most recent member to speak, I would like the procurement officer to just clarify.
Procurement officer.
Thank you so much, Chair. I'd wish to clarify why we settled on the order. This, like the Council Secretary earlier alluded to, when you follow Regulation 182, it gives us the steps that we should take in order to offer contracts that are on simplified bidding. So simplified bidding, these are contracts that are low value in nature, because everything that is under below 1 million is called a low value project. And therefore, Regulation 182 would guide us on how these works are done, because it has to involve works, services and goods for orders, because orders in their nature, according to that regulation, they are regarded as contracts. Then also, maybe Chair, I would wish to add that why they were not taken to Attorney General, Section 73 of the Public Procurement Act says that a contract that should be taken to Attorney General, it should be a standard contract that is provided by the Zambia Public Procurement Authority. Now, in this method of procurement, the simplified bidding has no standard contract, because it has to be administered by the what? By the order. The one that has got a standard contract is the national open bidding. That is a contract above 1 million, where we can take that order and take it to Attorney General. You would wish also to know, amongst our appendixes, what we have added is a letter from the ministry that tells us the guideline on how this CDF should be run. So you find that in that guidance, although they are not talking about whether we are using the order or not, but it will show you when you go under simplified bidding, it will tell you that there is zero. Where you have to take it to clearance to Attorney General, it tells you that you don't need to take it. There are 0 days for simplified bidding, but there are 5 days on national open bidding. And then the clearance also with Accountant General, there is also 0.
Chair,
I think. Hold on, Honorable Simumba. Yes.
Yes. So, given that guidance again, it marries very well with the Regulation 182 that we are looking at, that looks at simplified bidding in terms of handling these orders, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Simumba.
Chair,
Honorable Simumba.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you. I'm Honorable Simumba Lucas, Member of Parliament for Nakonde. Chair, having listened from this, the way he has lectured us, I'm wondering, because the standard practice, which I know, because all of us here were members of Parliament, and there is this simplified bidding and so forth, we take for clearance, Chair. Now, when somebody comes here to start lecturing us that these were below the standard and the amounts were low, we cannot take to Attorney General for clearance. This is my first time to hear this.
I don't know about others. But nevertheless, Chair, I think we need the clarity from the ministry, because the same council, others are taking these simplified contracts for clearance, and other councils are not taking. So maybe we need to be cleared so that we know where we are, than being, you know, others are doing other things and others. I think that's what we need to do.
Thank you very much, Honorable Simumba.
Allow me, Chair.
Yes.
With this very good council, Chair, I'm very happy. All projects to finish within a week in all the councils, if this is the route we take. We are building houses at 800,000 kwacha. We don't need Attorney General. Straight, LPO, and we move. If this is the standard, as my friend has said, I welcome it. But why didn't this council, when they were sitting with the auditors, could not submit this rich information and lecture to the, so that this matter could have been rested? However, I'm very happy, and it's on record, that you don't need, the way they have attached, I've read them, you don't need Attorney General for clearance, as long as it's within, below 1 million. You just need to LPO, then you contract, you move on. So I wanted this chair to find out why they couldn't rest the matter with the attorney, with the external auditors. This matter that you're explaining very well.
Thank you very much. I think before we proceed, honorable members, I would love the ministry to make a comment, because they are the ones that provided this guidance, which he was alluding to. We do not want a committee to be found in conflict with what the people that are disbursing these monies are guiding. So, your comment.
Thank you, Chair. I think on this one, let me not commit myself. I will need to consult, and I'll make sure that I bring audits so that it can be circulated, and we find a way forward. Chair, let me not commit myself.
I've said so because the argument that we are getting from the witness is based on a document. It's not just an explanation, and this committee will be found, it will be an embarrassment that we start arguing with what your guidance is in writing, because anybody will bring a document, say no, but what we are doing is here. So we really need further guidance on that, because members would want to know.
Thank you, Chair.
Urgently, so we'll move to another question.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, I came late.
Is it the same that I've ruled
Just
on?
a short one.
Is it the same I've ruled on?
Yes.
Yeah, but that one we're waiting for the ministry to.
No, what I wanted is maybe if you allowed me,
honorable members, allow me to manage the meeting. Yes. Allow me to manage the meeting. I've guided, and they are not going to. Him said he needed time, so we can't tell him. Tell him to go outside and consult. He will come back. We are still here, so we want to be very procedural and conduct our meetings. I know Honorable Kamondo want to ask on the same question, but what I'm saying is we wanted the ministry to come up with something that is going to help the nation.
Yes, actually for me,
yes,
I'm not going the other route. What I wanted is, I wanted just to suggest,
your comment.
My comment is that we should have allowed actually the officer to finish actually referring to this document which they've actually given us. And when you look at it, it is instructive. So now, I don't know why we should ask, why we should not depend on this document. Maybe for them, we should have given them time to explain themselves up to the fullest. If the members were not satisfied, that is when now we can say, okay, let us take it for another time.
I think that's what they have done. They have explained. So if we still have that, that's why I said, what's your comment as ministry where the document is coming to them? So we are waiting for the ministry when they are ready, whether it's tomorrow, to give us that information, because that information will not only help Sinazongwe, it will help the entire country. That you see, if you give another council to say, no, you can bypass Attorney General on this amount, and then the other council is still going back to the Attorney General. In doing that, they are delayed. So we want to make sure that what we are doing is uniform. So we give the council, I mean the ministry, enough time. Honorable, I saw that hand first, Honorable Singombe, then Honorable Mwanza, and Honorable Nyambose in that order.
Chair, I'm grateful on cross-cutting issues. Was page 7. Chair, on that table on Appendix 2, Appendix 1, you will note that there is an interest of 16,575.
Page 7.
Yeah, page 7. There is an interest which was earned from that account of 16,575. I wanted to know what is the current status of this money.
Thank you very much, Chair. In my presentation, I focused on the variance of 2 million. I'll allow the Treasurer to respond to that.
Treasurer.
Thank you a lot, Chair. Thank you, CS. Thank you a lot, Honorable, for the note. The 16.5 thousand that is in the account comes from the loans, and this is the interest that is accrued from the loans that are being disbursed by Zanaco. So what happens according to the guideline, when the loans reach a 25% threshold of the disbursement, I will have to do a report to the CDFC to show them how much we have in the revolving fund so that this loan can be reallocated, because this is a revolving fund. It has to be revolving amongst the beneficiaries in the district. So once I reach the threshold of 25%, I have to submit a report to CDFC so that the money can be reallocated to other beneficiaries. I thank you, Lord Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable, come on. Oh.
Yeah, thank you.
Follow-up.
Yeah, just a follow-up on the same. Honorable, this is very interesting. Actually, something that is coming from Sinazongwe Council, which would, for the first time, which also other councils would learn from. Now, when it reaches 25%, do you need fresh application forms, or those that could have applied but you left them are those that you're going to consider using the same amount of money?
Honorable Singombe, on the same?
Yes. Chairman, I think, yeah, this is also new to me, bearing from where we're coming from. The threshold of 25%. I would want to get to know where this 25% is coming from. Which part of the guidelines is it coming from? Because those who came before you, all of them never talked about the 25%. Again, we have others who are saying, no, we've not accrued any interest. Of course, they've made justification as to where the money is. The banks are not awarding that, but just the 25% threshold. Which law are you basing it on?
Treasurer.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Yes.
The response from the Treasurer notwithstanding, would like to state that we would want to get ministerial guidance, because most of what we do is based on the CDF guidelines as they are. So his response notwithstanding, in terms of how we would utilize, I don't think we would want to encourage members to ask us further questions that would be outside what we have been guided.
Thank you very much. Honorable Singombe.
Chair, the Treasurer mentioned the 25%. It's not outside, and it is well documented here. There's an interest. And I want to know where this money, what is the status of this 16,000? And in his response, Chair, he has said he has to wait until he reaches the 25%, and then he will report to the committee So this is the background of my question, and I'm asking where he's basing, where is that law that stipulates about the 25% threshold?
Thank you, Chair. I'll let the Treasurer respond, but that response from me, Chair, came to you because in our midst, we also have the District Planning Officer, who is our Secretary for CDF, and exchanging notes between the two in terms of the follow-up question that the member had asked. That is where the discomfort came from. But if the member would like the Treasurer to repeat himself in terms of explaining the status of the money and so forth, he could. But in terms of the utilization, that is where we are saying would be comfortable to seek further guidance.
Yeah, it's not about
Treasurer.
utilization, but it's about the 25%. Where is that law?
Treasurer?
Thank
what's
you,
your
Lord
comment?
Chair. First of all, I'd love to make the committee understand that the money that sits in the CDF account, whereas loans are concerned, is a revolving fund account in nature. What does that mean? That money is not free money. There's an interest of 10% of it. Meaning when I get money, well, let's say an example of maybe 200,000, I have to return that money with an interest, which I pay monthly. So there's that interest component. That's the figure Honorable has seen. Now, the issue of the threshold of 25% is just materiality, because if I have to report every interest, I'll end up reporting immaterial figures. Let's give an example of there's only 15 kwacha as interest in the account.
Just a minute, just where the member is trying to understand if you have documented evidence in terms of guidance that there is a 25%. If you don't have that, I would encourage you to withdraw that. If you just have an explanation, you do not have the document like the document that your colleague produced to say, no, we base our argument on this. But if you don't have that, I would encourage you to withdraw that and end by saying it's a revolving account, and yes, the interest that is accrued is taken. You seek guidance from the ministry, and then once the ministry allows you to use it, then through CDF you are able to vary it in that order. Maybe I want you to respond.
No,
Chair, I want to respond
before
to that.
Before he responds, Chair, my comment is just to help you, Chair. You have always guided these councils, and I like the council secretary. She always refers to the guidelines and the regulations. So the danger that we are having is each council coming up with whatever they think. Each officer will say, me, I'll wait for 25%. What is that 25% threshold, which is not guided? I've worked in local authorities. Everything is regulated and guided, and you are following very well. Now, if you start having such mentality, or I don't know if it's parliamentary, mentality where you think me 25%, when there is someone on the queue who was left out, when they accrues even at 15%, you can give that loan. As long as it's approved by the CDF committee, you as a treasurer, you say, no, I have not reached 25%. Where have you gotten it? So let us try to avoid the temptation of coming up whatever we think in our environments or jurisdictions. If it's Nazongwe, me, I'll come up with this. CS, I encourage you, continue following the regulation and do not allow this temptation that is coming from the treasurer.
Thank you very much, Treasurer.
Thank you, Lord Chair. Let me withdraw the 25% threshold. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm sure, Chair, kindly you recall that we did mention that we would seek guidance, and I think we would stick to that.
Thank you very much. Yes, yes. Honorable Mwanza, a fresh question.
Yeah, well, can I be allowed to ask again on the same community projects?
Dr. Honorable Mwanza. Yes.
Okay. These community projects, there are 33 of them in number from the list. And it shows that these 13 projects that were procured under using LPO. It was the project started on 27th December. I would like the Director of Works or the procurement man to explain what procurement method did you use for the remaining projects, because you have only cited 13 that you used under LPO. Now the balance.
Thank you.
And why did you choose those 13 out of these other projects to be used on LPO?
Council Secretary.
Thank you very much, Chair. The projects that were queried were 13. In any case, the number of projects regardless, the local authority used simplified bidding for all of them, and all of them were below 1 million.
Honorable Simus, yes, sir. No, it will come to you soon. You can start, Honorable Nyambose. It should be a short one.
Is it come? Page 5.
Page 5.
Page 5, Chair. Failure to adhere to CDF guidelines. Non-TAVETA accredited school. Chair, on 30th August 2022, the council paid 523,000 in respect of 69 youths of the district for a course.
Honorable Nyambose, just maybe before further, when you come to the query and action, this matter is seemingly in court. I just want to get further clarification on that. Is Parliament?
Chair, the matter which is in court is between the people under a college, not an institution.
Sir, is court report. When about this, you end up going into this matter. We'll go into details. I think we are all members of this honorable house, where the speaker would always say we are constrained to go into details on the matter that is there. I think we can only, on that one, honorable members bear, we can only encourage the auditors to get us once the case is disposed of. Honorable Nyambo Shagafoso.
Chair, page 6. Payments not supported by approved application forms.
I think we dealt with that.
It was noted at the time of audit that there were payments amounting to 94,550 kwacha, which were made without supporting.
Sorry, Honorable Shagafuso, I'm not bringing a lot of interjections today. I think you came late. This was one of the questions. Is that the question Honorable Nyambose asked, the first one? Yes, we dealt with it. And let's maybe see how we can bring it in another angle.
Well, you didn't hear me, so I don't know how you're going to tell me to bring it in another angle. Let me
No,
just
but what I'm saying is, the way we are phrasing it, that's the way other person.
That's my preamble. Because I can't just ask a question without quoting what the query is.
Go ahead.
Yes, Chair. I actually followed what my colleague asked, and I was looking at
You would have provided that. I'm making a follow-up.
I'm making a follow-up,
yes.
Chair.
Go ahead.
Maybe for the sake of
it's
progress.
provided for.
They were misfound. I was just interested when I looked at the appendix which has been provided. A very nicely secured cabinet. And I'm wondering how these files were misfound. Because to me, this is very small. And the files seem to be secured here. How were they misfound? Says, I'm just worried.
Council Secretary.
Thank you very much, Chair. When you look at our one of our appliers should be you see there that says documents collected by Zambia police. No, I'm trying to go into detail yet again, given your earlier guidance, because this matter is related to the other that at some point when forms were being looked at by the investigations, they were in a pool office. Some of these forms were moved. So apparently these documents right now, I think they sit in the office of the economic planner, and that is where they were supposed to be. I think at the time the audit scheme says were based on where they could be found in terms of registry in the planning office. But then with time, and I'm sure Chair, you understand, when you have a such as this one, you obviously want to do and go far and wide to try and find the documents. But then eventually these documents were found in one of the offices, which is the office of the district planning officer. But at the time they were not found.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Chair, I think we are a serious committee sitting on behalf of the Zambian people. Chair, we are doing a disservice to this country if we allow these responses that are coming. Anything that talks about missing vouchers, the audit is a process. They take long, Chair. And the taxpayers' money for the auditors to visit each and every council chairsafe, then these voucher papers are either in the DPO's office, that they have been found in the social economic planner's office. At the time of audit, they couldn't avail them. Then they will come here and tell you that we have since found them. Even the ones who are coming tomorrow and the other day, it's just an anthem now. So, Chair, where are we taking this country if this is the attitude? Is it true that when auditors visit, you can't locate them? They only be located after the auditors or when you appear here. I'm talking about a general comment, yes. This is what you do. If you watch tomorrow, the other people are coming, I don't know, it will be the same thing. You are not helping this country. This mirrors what you are. If this is the attitude, why didn't you avail these documents, or they have just been manufactured? So me, I'm getting weakened and shocked by this same statement. Chair, I'm just helping you. I know that's what you're thinking also.
No.
Chair, this is not good for the country. I submit.
I'm with you. I'm with you, and going forward, this is one submission that we'll make, because both the Local Government Service Commission and the ministry itself will appear before this committee, and I would encourage you, Honorable Nyambos, to emphatically bring that issue, because going forward, we will stop accepting documents that will come after the auditors. If it means local authorities should be given more time to be with auditors, so be it. So that we get the documents. The documents, whatever the query will come from the auditors, in the response from the local authorities, if they won't have the documents at that time, we will not accept the documents that will come after, because every local authority, I think this time that we have been sitting, 4 or 5, we are saying we are renovating our offices. So we moved them. No, we are renovating our offices. No, we are building a new one. Just like that. So auditors and the ministry plus Local Government Service Commission, I think they are listening to the concerns of this committee. Going forward, I think we'll put some measures. Yes, sir.
So that we put the matter to bed. So it's been answered that they were found in the office of the DPO. So was the DPO around when the audit was taking place?
Are you done with the question?
Yes, I want to ask a further question after, because my question is, I think, no or yes.
Maybe before you proceed with the next question, I would like to clarify my earlier submission. I said there was an activity or an exercise that was going on earlier at the local authority, and according to that activity, a number of files were put together from different offices, and then these were later moved. Yes, the DPO was around, but this was the only plausible cause for them to have been moved from the office where they were supposed to be. And when they were being looked for, they were being looked for where they were expected to be.
Another council, they had an activity, same response.
Yes, I know you worked for Lusaka City Council, where there are bulky documents. And your council is very small. And for me, I will not accept such responses. We don't want this issue of manufacturing documents after audit has been done. If you want to manufacture, you need to admit and say, yes, we asked the applicants to resubmit documents. Then that would make sense to this committee. Unlike where you want to tell us that when the auditors went, we found them in the DPO's office. The DPO handles these documents, and they're supposed to be, these forms are actually, he's the custodian. He or she is the custodian of this document. So to later find the forms again in their office when they were supposed to produce them for audit, it's not making sense. Anyway, the chair has already guided. That is my comment, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, Sinazonge Town Council, we want to put it on record that we have noticed some gaps in your report, which gaps we wish, we want to encourage you to work on them. Those gaps are not supposed to be there. We want you to, even as you follow the law to the letter, we make sure that we deliver service to the people, our people. We want to encourage the treasurer that whatever money is there, please, when you check your account, take it to management, make a decision so that at the end of the day, through CDF, our people benefit. We can encourage each and everyone to work as a team, continue working hard. And what we are looking for, your partners in development, is the development of Sinazongwe. We know these were just few issues that we have seen from Sinazongwe under CDF. You are coming back next month, after next month, somewhere in April or somewhere there, where we have a lot of these things. We want a very good coordinated report so that together we can generate a very good report. That's not, in Sinazongwe something is happening. At this point, I wish to withdraw the immunity that was conferred on you, and wish you well as you go back to Sinazongwe. Sorry. Thank you very much. Yes. You see, I'm tempted to say Siavonga because of
Parliament TV, bringing Parliament closer to you.
I'm telling you. No, I'm telling you. That is not true. No, that is not true. I'm telling you. No, I'm not taking this kind of thing. As a John Joe.